Mr. Scott, if the police didn't see me commit a crime, they can't arrest me. Hi, my name is Corey Scott, and I am a defense attorney here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I hear people coming to the office with all types of bad information, misinformation, if you will. Of course, the idea of misinformation and people relying on bad information that they got from somewhere off of Facebook, off of Instagram, from their cousin. We hear about it all the time, but having done this for 19 years, I really, truly have heard some crazy things. So I will never forget here recently, I spoke to a gentleman and he swore by the fact, and he swore me down, that if the police didn't see him do it, then he couldn't be arrested. And so I'm going to share at least 4 reasons why that's just simply not true. This whole notion that the police have to see you in order to arrest you. So number 1, maybe the police don't necessarily lay eyes on you while you commit a crime. But one of the first things that police often do in an investigation is to go to the surrounding businesses, to go to neighbors and people in the neighborhood. And you know what they're asking for? Do you have any type of video surveillance equipment? The reason being, of course, there are a lot of crimes that maybe there's no eyewitness, but there are videos everywhere. Of course, everyone has a cell phone, but you have Ring cameras, you have businesses that have security cameras. So the first scenario, I should say, is the police didn't see it directly, but the police were able to obtain video footage that shows a crime being committed. And so, of course, that's a situation to where police didn't see it, but based upon what they see on video, they could, in fact, arrest you. The other thing is, of course, we talked about eyewitnesses. There are times to where, people think that they're not being witnessed or they're not being watched, but lo and behold, you never know when you think that perhaps the coast is clear, but you never know when someone may look out the window. Maybe they hear something and they come to the window. Maybe just as a crime is about to be committed, they walk out of a business or they open their front door. And so, of course, there are situations to where there are eyewitnesses that then can, of course, make a report, or during the course of an investigation, they can give statement. Yes, I saw the person. The man was wearing a green jacket. He had on black blue jeans, and he had on a blue baseball cap. And then there you go. The investigation is off and running. Police find someone a short time later that matches the description, and then that person is arrested. So that's the second way in which police don't have to see it, but they certainly will have enough to arrest a person. Now, sometimes there's no what we call direct evidence, but sometimes, there's a circumstantial type of a situation. The store was about to close. There was only one patron in the store. And I noticed the guy, he kept, checking me out. I was working at the front counter. Person kept, acting really suspicious. They kept looking at me. And, I went to the back to do something. I come back. And lo and behold, when I come back, the guy is gone. But not only is the guy gone, but a lot of our merchandise evidently went with the guy. And so I didn't see him do it myself. But, when I make the report, I can give a description of the guy and say, hey, he was the only patron in there. I was about to close. And matter of fact, when I came out and found out that the merchandise was gone, I closed up. So before I went to the back, there was no one there but this person. And then when I came back and noticed that a crime had been committed, I locked up. So that person had to be the person that committed the crime. So that's another way in which police didn't see it, but I certainly can be arrested at a later date. Now, sometimes you don't have direct evidence where, the police catch you red-handed, but there's also indirect evidence, and it really sometimes it's like a hybrid of the two. So I'll never forget, years ago, there was a client to where, the allegation was that a person was hit, was riding a bike and was hit by someone in a car. And of course, the person didn't stop. In Indiana, it's illegal. You should stop. You should call for help. You should stay around and give your information, etc. But anyway, the person didn't stop, so the person's long gone. So there was an investigation that ensued, and what the police was able to put together is that the paint on the bike, it had a certain color, it was a certain type, and lo and behold, a few days later in that same neighborhood, police, they discover a car, and it's the same type, and then not only that, it's the same color, but not only that, that car also had some transfer paint that was the same color of the bike. They do an investigation, and later on, the person is charged with a crime. And so that's another way. But then there's one more. Let's just say in that last scenario, the person is not caught because of the evidence and the transfer of paint. But sometimes a person's conscience will just work on them. They start feeling bad about what happened, etc. And then lo and behold, maybe the person says something to someone else and then they turn them in. And there's sometimes when people, they can't take it anymore. And so they go down and turn themselves in, and then they're later on arrested for something that was not witnessed by the police, but, their conscience got the better of them and they turn themselves in, or they confess or whatever. So those are just some examples of ways in which, although police don't see a crime, you can in fact be arrested. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. If you have any questions about this video or anything else related to it, give me a call, hit me up. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. Until the next time, or even if there isn't a next time, remember, if you have to be guilty of anything, be guilty of greatness. Take great care.